Today, we're diving into a story about a door that opens in the deepest darkness. It's an event so strange, so mysterious, you get the feeling it was maybe meant to stay a secret from us.
Just think about that for a second. A voice so powerful it fills the air, but the audience, they're not from our world. We're about to uncover the chilling, true story of an encounter with a creation most of us know very little about.
And these are the jinn. So in Islamic tradition, they're a race of beings born from what's described as nare samum, basically a smokeless, scorching fire. They exist in a world that runs parallel to ours, totally unseen. But on one particular night, their world and ours, they collided in a way that would change everything.
So, let's get into it. Our story kicks off with that very first encounter, a moment of intense struggle, of quiet devotion, and a voice that literally felt like it was tearing the sky apart.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're going back about 1,400 years. The year is around 619 AD. In Mecca, the early Muslims are facing some serious persecution. Life has been made incredibly difficult for the Prophet Muhammad. So, in these quiet, pre-dawn moments of the Fajr prayer, he goes to this remote valley to recite the Quran. The words just fill the silent air as the sky starts to brighten up. He thinks he's completely alone, but he's not.
At that exact moment, a group of jinn just happens to be passing by, and they are stopped dead in their tracks by a sound unlike anything they have ever heard. It's so powerful, so resonant, they actually describe it as a voice that is tearing the sky.
Their first reaction, that shock, it quickly turns into this deep focus. One of them tells the others, "Be silent and just listen." They realize almost instantly, this isn't just noise, this is a message. This is, in their words, the word of guidance.
And then, boom, the light bulb goes on. It all clicks into place. This is it. This is the truth they've been searching for. They can feel its, quote, strange power, and they know, without a doubt, this is a miracle, the undeniable word of God. And right there, in that single moment, they believe.
Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. This incredible otherworldly event, it didn't actually go unwitnessed by human eyes. And that brings us to our next part, the secret that was held inside a simple line drawn on the ground.
So after this first encounter, the Prophet actually arranges to meet with the jinn again, and one of his companions, a man named Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, bravely volunteers to go with him. He is about to become the sole human witness to what happens next in that valley.
Before this meeting takes place, the Prophet draws a simple circle on the dusty ground with his staff, and he gives Abdullah a very strict threefold command. Stand inside this line. Do not take a single step out. And whatever you do, no matter what you see or hear, do not cross it.
And right here, this is where Abdullah's real test begins. Because as the veils between the worlds are lifted, he is hit with sights and sounds that the human mind can barely even process. He's gripped by this deep, primal fear, this khawf. But he keeps remembering the Prophet's command, his hukm, stay inside the line.
Then he overhears this sinister voice. It's a direct threat from Iblis, from Satan, speaking through one of his followers. The voice calls Abdullah an enemy and vows to attack humanity from every single direction. The spiritual danger of this moment is terrifyingly real.
Can you even imagine the sheer willpower it took to just stand his ground, to obey that command while facing down that kind of spiritual and psychological terror? It's said that for Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, that single night in the valley felt as long as an entire lifetime.
So, while a human is being tested by this immense fear, the jinn are having a completely different experience. And their reaction, their acceptance of faith, is such a critical part of this story, especially when you compare it to the humans of that time.
Yeah, this contrast is really at the heart of the whole thing. On one side, you've got the jinn who heard the Quran and responded with immediate belief and just profound humility. And on the other side, the Prophet's own people in Mecca, his fellow human beings, who responded with arrogance and, well, violent rejection. It's a tale of two totally different reactions.
And look, their faith wasn't passive, not at all. The moment they understood the truth, they didn't just sit on it. They rushed back to their own communities and immediately became warners, inviting their fellow jinn to believe. And history remembers them as the jinn of Nasibin, the very first of their kind to accept this message.
So, where does this all lead?
What's the final, powerful lesson here? Well, at the end of the day, this story isn't just about the jinn. It's really meant to be a mirror for us, for humanity.
The main point is this powerful comparison. The jinn reacted with ajizi, which means humility, and because of that, they were raised to the absolute height of faith. In stark contrast, the humans in Mecca reacted with takabur, or arrogance, and the result was that they were brought low, just fallen to earth.
And this quote just sums it up perfectly. Strength, technology, and arrogance have brought humanity down, while humility raised the jinn to the height of faith. The lesson is that our own achievements, our own pride, those can be the very things that cause our spiritual downfall. Meanwhile, it was simple humility that elevated these unseen beings.
So, what's the practical takeaway from this incredible story? It's that the greatest shield we have, our best protection against all those negative influences, seen or unseen, isn't our own power. It's seeking refuge in God and holding on tight to the guidance He sent, the very same guidance that so profoundly moved the jinn.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty challenging question to think about. If these beings, literally born of fire, could have their hearts and minds completely turned around just by hearing these words one time, why is it that we, who are supposedly the best of creation, so often just remain heedless? It's definitely something worth thinking about.